Building muscle is harder than losing fat. That's why it can feel brutal to diet down and look in the mirror and just realise I'm just smaller, I look skinny. Thankfully, that's a bit of an illusion. Your muscles aren't as full of glycogen and water as they were when you were bulking. They feel flatter because they're less full. But part of it can actually be real muscle loss too, and that's what we want to avoid. So in this video, I'm going to show you how you can keep your hard-earned muscle during the fat loss phase. And this is what I teach inside Built to Thrive using push-pull-run, which is my signature training methodology, and my simple dieting system. Both are designed to help you lose fat, fuel performance, and keep every ounce of size and strength. Click the link in the description for my blueprint. It's free. Now, there are 4 levers that decide whether you keep your muscle or lose it, and I'll walk you through each one. The size of your calorie deficit, how you create that deficit, your macronutrient breakdown, and the quality of your training. If you miss one of these, you will shrink and just become a smaller version of yourself. Get all 4 right and you'll come out leaner, fitter, and just as strong. To lose fat, you need a calorie deficit. Calories out greater than calories in. That part's obvious. But the size of the deficit is what makes or breaks you. Think about it like, I don't know, government spending. When the government spends more than it brings in, it runs a deficit. When you burn more than you consume, you run a calorie deficit. Now, here's the trade-off. The larger the deficit means faster fat loss, but it also increases the risk of losing muscle. Smaller deficit means slower fat loss, but better odds of keeping muscle. And that's the balance with training. If your goal is to look athletic and not just skinny, your deficit cannot be aggressive. For most guys, the sweet spot is 0.5 to 1% of your body weight every single week. That's slow enough to hold onto muscle, fast enough to see the scale moving and stay motivated. Example, if you're 90 kilograms, that's about half a kilo per week. Over 10 weeks, you drop 5 kilograms, so you'd keep all of your muscle and strength. Now, there are times where a faster cut might make sense. If you're starting at a very high body fat percentage, like 25 plus, you're just too fat and you need to push harder at the start because of health, and the risk of losing muscle is lower. If you're up against a hard deadline as well, holiday, photo shoot, whatever it might be, wedding, and a short aggressive cut might be worth it, you need to understand that you will be sacrificing a little bit of size there. But for most of you watching, the long game wins. Slow and steady isn't just easier to stick to, it also means you hold onto your muscle so you don't get to the end of the cut looking smaller and just like softer than before. Inside Built to Thrive, we always bias towards the smaller deficit because the goal isn't just to weigh less, it's to come out the other side looking strong, lean, and athletic. So let's say you need a 400 calorie deficit, right? You've got 3 options. You've got eat 400 fewer calories, burn 400 more, or split it up between the two. Now, most people screw this up. They slash food far too aggressive, energy crashes, training feels flat, they start losing strength. Or they throw hours into random cardio, recovery tanks, and then they blame running for killing the gains. It's not cardio that kills your gains, it's poor planning. When you're cutting, you do not need to stop hybrid training. Keep lifting, keep running, keep building both. Balance is key, and that's where push-pull-run comes in. It gives you the framework to adjust your lifting volume slightly whilst adding the right amount of endurance work to keep everything sharp. Now, what does that look like? In the gym, you're still lifting hard, but instead of chasing personal bests every single week, you run 3 crisp sessions, full body 3 times per week. Lower the volume slightly, make sure quality is really high. On the road, you keep running, but you manage the mileage. Zone 2 is your best friend. Shorter, easier sessions if required to keep building that aerobic fitness without smashing your recovery. Together, these raise your fitness floor, so even in a deficit, you've got the capacity to adapt. Now, training is only half the picture. Fueling is the other half, and that's where my simple dieting system comes in. It keeps your meals repetitive but effective. Protein is the anchor in every meal, carbs targeted around training, and default days that you can stick to during the week. It stops you blowing then your weekend deficit. This means that you're not just cutting your calories, you're fueling performance, and performance is what keeps your muscle. So the real answer to how do you create the deficit is this. Trim food down to a level that keeps hunger manageable. Match it with the right amount of low impact activity. Keep both running and lifting in the plan because hybrid training is the insurance policy that protects your muscle while you strip the fat. If all this sounds like too much to handle all by yourself and you want my help, DM me Thrive on Instagram, the link's in the description. Now, let's talk more about food, because no matter how good your training is, if you screw up your nutrition, it will bleed into your muscle during the cut. Here's the truth about protein. Now, it's a muscle insurance, but it's not magic. You can't starve yourself with a huge deficit, then slam double protein and expect to hold your size. The calorie deficit always wins. Here's the breakdown that I use. 0.8 to 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight. That's enough to protect your muscle whilst you're in the deficit. More isn't always better. It just eats into the calories that you should be spending on carbs. Keep fats around 0.4 to 0.5 grams per pound of your body weight. It's enough to support your hormones, and it's not so high that it steals from your carb budget. And that's carbs, is whatever's left. And that's the most underrated piece. Carbs are fuel. They refill muscle glycogen, they'll let you train hard, run strong, and recover. Now, I'm sure somebody's gonna chime in the comments here, like on my previous video, carbs aren't required, blah, 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 look at Sean Baker. Now, please, if you want to perform at your best and train hybrid and look your best at the end of the diet, you need to train hard, your performance needs to be really good, and to do that, you need carbohydrates. Rant over. And this is why my simple dieting system is so effective. We don't chase fancy macro splits or fad diets. We anchor protein, give fats a floor, and bias carbohydrates around the training window. Example, you might have protein and fats for breakfast, so for like that satiety and manage hunger. We'll add carbs, all carbs, around the pre and post workout windows for fuel and recovery. Simple, boring default days during the week so you don't have to think. Most guys don't lose muscle because they didn't hit enough protein. They lose it because their energy tanks, the workouts get worse, and over weeks the performance just starts shrinking. Simple dieting system solves that. Fuel performance, protects muscle, and still runs a deficit. Here's the part most guys mess up. They start cutting and suddenly train like they're fragile. Don't do that. Cutting calories doesn't mean cutting intensity. Your body only keeps what it thinks it needs. So if you stop lifting heavy, if you stop pushing intensity, you're telling your body this muscle isn't needed anymore, and it'll just go. Inside Built to Thrive, nothing changes in principle. You still train like you're trying to build muscle. Every muscle group gets hit often enough, and your weekly sets stay in that sweet spot. You live in the right rep ranges, you push for progressive overload, and the push-pull-run framework makes it just easy. You lift the program so that they don't clash with your endurance, and your volume work is capped, manipulated, and adjusted appropriately so your recovery stays high. And every block is set up so you can actually progress even in a deficit. Now, let's be real. You might not be hitting lifetime PBs in a cut, but you should still be progressing, better form, more reps at the same weight, or holding strength steady whilst body fat drops. That's still the win. All of this and more is explained and educated to my clients in detail in my school education platform. No guesswork. And here's the mindset piece. If you go into every workout thinking I'm cutting, I'm going to get weaker, you will. It's that belief that is just rubbish, and it just kills more muscle than the actual deficit does. But if you attack your sessions like you're still building, you'll hold on to your size and strength. You'll even get stronger. Before I knew all this, I've had cuts where I've lost muscle and strength. I've had cuts where I've kept it all. Like now, I'm in best shape I've ever been in, and my progress is fantastic. The difference isn't just luck, it's how I trained. Standards don't drop, effort doesn't drop. The deficit is in the kitchen, not in the weight room. If you've been training hybrid for a while and this just isn't clicking, watch this video next. Why your hybrid training is not working and how to fix it. Now, here's the reality. Most of you watching are not pro bodybuilders. Well, I doubt it. If you are, hey, thanks for being here. You're not cutting to 5% body fat for stage. You're not maxed out on your genetic limit. You're men, 15, 20% body fat, maybe a little bit more, wanting to lean down into the low teens. You want to look athletic, feel sharp, keep your size while you do it. And the truth is that is so completely possible. With the right plan, you can strip fat and keep every ounce of muscle and strength. The difference between losing it all and retaining it all is not luck, it's not genetics, it's the plan. A small deficit, Start with hybrid training, push, pull, run, simple, repeatable nutrition with the simple dieting system, and the mindset standards don't drop just because your calories do. Hybrid training doesn't need to stop when you cut in. Keep lifting, keep running, fuel your performance, and your body adapts. And this is your action plan. Keep the deficit shallow. Use push, pull, run to balance strength and endurance. Links in the description. Fuel with simple dieting system so you can still perform. Train with intensity, the intensity like you are building. Do that and you'll come out of your cut leaner, fitter and stronger, not smaller. And if all of this just sounds like a little bit of a minefield to you, DM me Thrive on Instagram, links in the description, and I'll build out your full plan. Now, like, comment, subscribe. Until next time, train hard, stay disciplined, and let's build that body that matches your ambitions.